The newest culture war topic has dropped, and it's hot. Literally. Right wingers are now flipping out over stoves. Now, recently there was a consumer warning over the use of gas stoves. Now, research has been around for quite some time showing that gas stoves are not great for the environment. They're also not great for people who knew that, literally cooking food in front of on top of a chemical thing that is on fire might not be the greatest thing, you know, for your lungs and for the environment. Who would have known? And now, nonetheless, this warning, and it's just a warning, has convinced conservatives that the government is coming into your kitchen to take your stove. Amazing. So now, look, in response to this warning, there are blue states that have begun considering having gas stoves phased out in new buildings. In fact, on Monday, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's chairman, Richard Trumka Jr., told Bloomberg that, quote, any option is on the table. Products that can't be made safe can be banned when asked about gas stoves. Okay, but that doesn't mean that jackbooted thugs are going to come rip the stove out of your wall. That's not going to happen. Okay? It's amazing that people believe this. And maybe some of them do, and others might just be looking to play on the outrage. But that said, here's what will happen. New buildings will be required to install electric stoves instead of gas ones. That's pretty much it. And that's, by the way, if they phase this out. Not even President Biden is like on board with banning gas stoves. He's like, oh, no, you're not going to take my stove. No, nobody's taking your stoves. Seriously, nobody's going to come in and take your stove. But anyway, that said, I don't care. I have an electric stove. It's fine. It works. It cooks food. I know there are people out there that love their gas stoves. They think it makes the food taste better. Honestly, I can't tell the difference. Maybe that's just me. Okay? But I get it. I understand people are not happy with change. I understand. There are those people who are not happy about change. And then there are the ones who've decided that having a gas stove have decided to make their having a gas stove their entire identity for the week. Upon the news, right-wingers on social media sprung into outrage. Texas Representative and former White House physician Ronnie Jackson had this banger, quote, I'll never give up my gas stove. If the maniacs in the White House come for my stove, they can pry it from my cold, dead hands. Come and take it. And he capped it off with, freedom! No, he did. You can imagine. Wow. There's more. Matt Walsh tweeted this. You will have to pry my gas stove from my cold dead hands. Why do they all want to die for a stove? Honestly. A stove that, by the way, nobody is coming for. But there's more. Here's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He put out this tweet. Don't tread on Florida. Let us alone. Don't you dare touch my gas stove. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Only 8% of Florida households report having a gas stove. In fact, electric stoves actually make up the majority of stoves in the country. There's not a lot of people. I think somewhere around 32% of households in this country still have a gas stove. Okay, sure. Don't tread on Florida. And the 8% that have gas stoves, But there's more. Representative Jim Jordan tweeted this: God, guns, gas stoves. I don't get it. Representative Mike Garcia tweeted, imagine a world where all tortillas are heated in the microwave. We must take a stand against this insanity. That's right. Microwave tortillas. That's the future liberals want. It's the future the left is going for. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Hands off my stove. What? Okay. He also said, I will be joining my colleagues this week to introduce legislation that stops the stove war from happening. There is no stove war. It's not happening. Here's Mark Lauder saying, quote, to Joe Biden and the other radical liberals, don't even think about coming for my gas stove until you extinguish the eternal flame. Thought not. What does that even... Every additional tweet from a right-winger seems even more unhinged. Unhinged. And by the way, speaking of right-wingers, you have the coal baron himself, Senator Joe Manchin, weighing in. He said, this is a recipe for disaster. The federal government has no business telling American families how to cook their dinner. I can tell you the last thing that would ever leave my house is the gas stove that we cook on. You might be seeing a theme here. Again, especially Joe Manchin weighing in really gives the game away. What is Joe Manchin most well known for? Fossil fuels. You can guarantee that every one of those people who is raging about a non-existent ban on gas stoves is doing it because we want to keep fossil fuels. That's what it's about. Of course. But anyway, let's go to my favorite freak out. And this is just the more fun part, okay? The most fun. Here's Cat Turd. Dear liberals. Oh, this is going to be good. I turned on all my gas stove eyes today and let them burn for no reason. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it but cry. We ain't crying. We're laughing, and it's not with you. It's at you. Stupid. I love how all these people are like, oh yeah, you're liberal, the gas stove. Oh, you want to take my stove? Yeah.
Go for it, bitch. Come at me.
I'm gonna fight you for my gas stove. Like, dude, we're not coming for your stove. Shut up. What's wrong with you? Okay, no. And by the way, if you do that, you're not hurting anybody. You're just running up your gas bill to own the libs. But who's really owned here? It ain't me. I don't have to pay that bill. Okay. I mean, you want to do that? You want to waste money? Okay. Hey, it's a free country. But it gets better, by the way. It gets better because and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to do more verification on this. Okay, but I do believe that this is an image of Cat Turd's kitchen. What do you notice about the stove? Looks like it's electric, isn't it? It might even be an induction stove, which, by the way, even more fuel efficient and safer than electric. So go with one of those. Good for him. Good for him. Flat top. Very nice. Look, I'm glad the right wing conservatives have such important things to do, important things to focus on. Like get angry at stuff that isn't happening. I guess at least it prevents them from, doing things that will cause even more damage to average people. Now, I will say, though, that if the federal government does decide down the line that, they're going to do a program to like, okay, we're phasing out, gas stoves, right? Well, then I would hope that they have a really good program help replace gas stoves for poor people who can't afford to upgrade. And I think that's really the best criticism here, okay, of these programs. Help poor people. They don't have the money to upgrade. They're poor. Now, you could point out, look, hey, there are credits, tax credits in the Inflation Reduction Act. Yes, there is. The problem with that is that you have to file a tax return to claim the tax credits. If you're in poverty, you're generally not filing a tax return to take advantage of these tax credits. So, honestly, yeah, you want to keep those things in mind if you ever do want to do something like this. And giving people tax credits is still going to miss out on the people I think who need the help the most.